Ever heard of getting the Cliff's Notes of history? Well, that's exactly what we do here. Today's chapter by chapter breakdown tackles David Grann's true crime masterpiece, Killers of the Flower Moon. This historical mystery from the 1920s involves the Osage Nation and a chilling conspiracy. Forget spending hours deciphering the details, we'll give you the essence of the story in a fraction of the time. Want to know who the good guys are, the bad guys, and why? We've got you covered. Subscribe to our channel and conquer Killers of the Flower Moon in record time. Chapter 14, Dying Words. As White and his team of agents delve deeper into the mysteries surrounding the Osage murders, they turn their attention to the dying words of Bill Smith, Molly Burkhart's brother-in-law. Smith, who suspected foul play in Lizzie's death and the larger conspiracy tied to the oil wealth of the Osage, mutters names in his feverish sleep. His nurse recalls how, in his final moments, he met with his doctors and lawyer, possibly revealing crucial information about his assailants. The doctors, James and David Chown, and the lawyer tried to maintain secrecy around their conversations with Bill Smith, raising suspicions. Despite intense questioning from white and federal prosecutors, the truth remains elusive. However, a revelation surfaces that points fingers at none other than William K. Hale, the influential figure known as the King of the Osage Hills, and his nephew Ernest Burkhart as Smith's supposed enemies. Further unraveling the story, it's discovered that the Chowns, who were the family physicians of Hale and the Burkharts, may have had ulterior motives in their clandestine meeting with Smith. James Chown is appointed as the administrator of Smith's murdered wife's estate, a position ripe with financial gain. The investigation uncovers layers of corruption, with whites exploiting the Osage wealth through deceitful practices, including swindling millions from the accounts of Osage wards. The narrative exposes a sinister web of deceit and exploitation, where prominent white citizens, officials, and law enforcers conspire to rob the Osage of their fortune. The Osage, aware of the schemes but powerless to halt them, face unimaginable betrayals and injustices at the hands of those they should trust. The chapter unearths a dark chapter in history where greed and manipulation run rampant, leaving a trail of devastation in their wake. In a world where trust is a luxury and corruption lurks at every corner, the Osage fight a battle not just for justice, but for their very existence. As the truth slowly unravels, White and his team are led down a twisted path of greed, deceit, and heart-wrenching tragedies, shedding light on the atrocities inflicted upon the Osage people in the pursuit of wealth and power. Chapter 15, The Hidden Face. In this chapter, we uncover the intricate web of deceit and manipulation spun by William Hale, a prominent figure in the Osage community. As our story unfolds, we delve into the mysterious circumstances surrounding the life insurance policy of Henry Roan, a close friend of Hale. It all begins with Hale's insidious scheme to become the beneficiary of Roan's $25,000 life insurance policy. Despite claiming that Roan owed him a significant amount of money, suspicions arise as the true nature of their financial dealings comes to light. Through deceptive tactics and forged documents, Hale manages to secure the policy, even going as far as altering dates to legitimize his claim. As the narrative unravels, we witness the lengths to which Hale would go to orchestrate his nefarious plans. From manipulating medical examinations to coercing witnesses, his devious actions paint a grim picture of greed and treachery. And as the investigation intensifies, more pieces of the puzzle come together, revealing a chilling motive behind Roan's murder. But the plot thickens as we uncover Hale's grander scheme, centered around Molly Burkhart, an unsuspecting pawn in his elaborate game. Through a series of calculated deaths and strategic inheritances, Hale sets his sights on accumulating vast wealth through his influence over Molly and her family. As the chapter draws to a close, the intricate layers of deceit and manipulation unveil Hale's true nature as a mastermind orchestrating a sinister plot to seize control of the Osage fortunes. His hidden face, veiled behind a facade of friendship and trust, is finally exposed, shedding light on the dark reality lurking beneath the surface of the Osage community. Chapter 16. For the Betterment of the Bureau. All right, gather around, folks, because this chapter is all about drama and power plays within the Bureau. Picture this. White and his team are feeling optimistic, as they believe they are making real progress in their investigation. A note from a Justice Department prosecutor praises White for breathing new life into the case and energizing the team. But the real challenge still lies ahead. White is facing a formidable opponent in Hale, a man who seems untouchable despite being suspected of heinous crimes. Hale, known as the Reverend, holds sway over local authorities through manipulation and patronage and remains shielded by his facade of respectability. As White digs deeper, his agents uncover a web of corruption. Matthijs, a key figure, is in cahoots with Hale, as are several other influential individuals in the area. It becomes clear that Hale's grip on local politics is ironclad, making it near impossible to bring him to justice. Meanwhile, Hoover, the head honcho, is hell-bent on transforming the Bureau into a model of efficiency. He's all about structure and order, inspired by progressive principles of scientific management. He wants to rid the Bureau of the old, corrupt ways and establish a new breed of technocratic agents. Now, Hoover, with his crisp suits and steely demeanor, sees himself as a modern-day crusader. He's all about rules and regulations, demanding perfection from his agents. No room for error in his world. And let me tell you, Hoover doesn't play around. He's quick to purge anyone who doesn't meet his standards, whether it's for lack of education or moral fiber. He's a stickler for the rules, and he expects his agents to toe the line. With Hoover's new policies in place, the Bureau becomes a well-oiled machine. Agents are now expected to report in a standardized format, no more lost information or shoddy paperwork on their watch. Everything is methodical and precise, just the way Hoover likes it. But not everyone is pleased with Hoover's iron fist approach. Some agents resent the rigid structure and long for the old ways of policing. They feel suffocated by the new regulations and yearn for the days when they had more autonomy in the field. White, caught in the middle of it all, tries to navigate the changing landscape. He understands the need for efficiency, but also sees the value in local knowledge and relationships. For him, being an effective agent means balancing the demands of Hoover with the realities on the ground. In the end, White adapts to the new order, embracing the ethos of scientific policing and playing by Hoover's rules. He may have traded in his cowboy hat for a fedora, but his commitment to justice remains unwavering in this evolving world of power, politics, and progress. Chapter 17. The Quick Draw Artist, the Yegg, and the Soup Man. In the fall of 1925, Tom White is feeling the weight of pressure on his shoulders. With J. Edgar Hoover expecting results, White is determined to gather enough evidence to bring down William Hale and his corrupt associates. The Osage community is living in fear, with lights burning each night and parents unwilling to let their children go into town alone. The desperation and skepticism of the Osage people towards the U.S. government are palpable as they wonder why they have to fund their own investigation and why no one has been arrested yet. Realizing that white citizens are reluctant to incriminate their own in the murders of the Osage, White shifts his focus towards the outlaws of the Osage Hills. Dick Gregg, a young stick-up man once part of the Al Spencer gang, catches White's attention. Despite Gregg's involvement in criminal activities, White sees a glimmer of potential cooperation in him. Through Gregg's testimony, White learns that Hale had ordered the murders of an old man and an Indian woman, offering a substantial sum for the gruesome job. Yet, Gregg's unwillingness to partake in the killings shows a sense of honor, a redeeming quality in an outlaw. As White delves deeper into the web of deceit and violence surrounding the Osage murders, he he encounters a series of unfortunate events leading to dead or uncooperative witnesses. From Al Spencer's demise to Curly Johnson's mysterious death and Henry Grammer's fatal car crash, Hale's trail of destruction seems to eliminate anyone who could implicate him. The existence of a potential witness in the Roan murder case also ends tragically, intensifying White's suspicions of a sinister plot to silence incriminating voices. Despite White's diligent efforts to unearth the truth, living witnesses seem elusive. Hale, sensing the heat on his tail, appears to be consolidating his power through patronage and manipulation. With undercover operatives weaving intricate connections and observing Hale's smug demeanor firsthand, the game of cat and mouse between White and Hale escalates. Caught in a maze of corruption and treachery, White finds solace in the stillness of nature, where the crack of a rifle and the sight of blood mingling with the soil offer a temporary release from the chaos engulfing the Osage murders investigation. Amidst the looming shadows of deceit and danger, White's resolve to seek justice remains unshaken as he continues his quest to unveil the sinister truth lurking in the Osage Hills. Chapter 18. The State of the Game. Imagine a poker game where the stakes are not just money, but lives. In the world of the Osage murders, the cards have been dealt, and the players are making their final moves. White and Agent Smith received a promising lead from a prisoner at McAllister, Bert Lawson. Lawson spills the beans on a chilling plot involving Hale and his nephews, Ernest and Brian Burkhart, to blow up Bill Smith's home. The details are grisly, with promises of cash and nitroglycerin, highlighting the sinister web of deceit spun by the conspirators. As the investigation intensifies, the noose tightens around the perpetrators. White, with a mix of cunning and desperation, pushes for Hale's arrest. But with every step forward, a new layer of deception unfurls. Molly Burkhart, the unwitting heiress to a fortune marred by bloodshed, becomes a target herself. The shadow of poisoning looms over her, a method as stealthy as it is deadly. The pieces of the puzzle start falling into place as Blackie Thompson, the outlaw, becomes a crucial witness, shedding light on the orchestration of the murders. Burkhart, torn between loyalty and guilt, ultimately betrays his kin by revealing the insidious machinations of Hale. The thread unravels further, implicating Kelsey Morrison in the tragic end of Anna Brown. In a tense showdown, Hale is confronted with irrefutable evidence of his crimes. White, driven by a mix of justice and finality, attempts to coax a confession from the unflinching mastermind. But Hale remains defiant, his arrogance a shield against the impending storm of justice. As the dice roll and the game reaches its climax, the players take their stands. Burkhart struggles with his conscience, knowing the truth will set him free from his shackles of complicity. Hale, the puppeteer of death, remains unyielding, confident in his ability to evade consequences. The stage is set for a showdown, where the line between victory and defeat is razor thin. Secrets are unearthed, alliances shattered, and lies laid bare. Will the forces of justice prevail, or will the master manipulators slip through their grasp once again? The cards have been played, but the final hand is yet to be revealed in this deadly game of cat and mouse. Chapter 19. A Traitor to His Blood. The nation is enraptured with the revelations of the arrested killers and the shocking crimes that gripped the Osage community. The press weaves tales of a diabolical conspiracy aiming to annihilate the oil-rich Osage people. Tom White and his men race against time to connect William Hale to the myriad of murders plaguing the community, unearthing how he benefits from the killings. Amidst the grotesque crimes, the white populace revels in the sensational story, seeing a glimpse of the old Wild West in the sinister deeds. As the investigations unfold, factions maneuver to ensure justice prevails over the influential Hale and his cabal of felons set on escaping punishment. The Osage clamor for retribution, rallying behind the tireless efforts of federal and state officials to crack the case wide open. However, The path to justice is riddled with corruption, as America's legal and policing systems are tainted by deceit and bribery. Despite the insidious influence of Hale over Oklahoma's legal framework, determined prosecutors gear up to try him for the murder of Henry Roan on a federal charge, with the death penalty looming over both him and his accomplice, Ramsey. As the trial kicks off, a formidable prosecution team led by Roy St. Louis and John Leahy faces off against Hale's skilled defense, helmed by legal stalwarts. The courtroom drama unfolds with stunning revelations and unforeseen twists, leaving the Osage community and the nation in awe. In the midst of the trial's intense proceedings, a shocking development rattles the courtroom. Ernest Burkhart, under intense pressure and the weight of the truth, decides to break free from the web of deceit and confess his involvement in the heinous crimes. His confession sends shockwaves through the trial, altering the course of the proceedings and bringing a glimmer of hope for justice to the devastated Osage tribe. As Burkhart's guilt is laid bare for all to see, a sliver of closure emerges. Yet the journey towards justice for the Osage people is far from over. The wheels of justice turn slowly, but with each revelation and confession, the sinister plot woven by Hale and his cohorts begins to unravel, bringing the Osage closer to the justice they so desperately seek. Chapter 20. So Help You God. As the summer heat rages in July 1926, the trial of Hale and Ramsey for the murder of Henry Roan begins in Guthrie's Red Brick Courthouse. The anticipation is high as the stage is set for a dramatic federal trial involving two old-time cowboys. With Hale facing allegations of bribing jurors and attempting to escape by any means necessary, the tension in the courtroom is palpable. Extra guards are stationed at the jail to prevent any further breakout attempts by potential witnesses against Hale. Blackie Thompson, held in a separate cell, receives a note from Hale instructing him to kidnap and make Ernest Burkhart disappear before he can testify. The prosecution aims to ensure that the witnesses and jury remain untainted by bribery attempts and outside influence. As the trial unfolds, the prosecution calls Ernest Burkhart to the stand. Burkhart reveals Hale's original plan to use poisoned moonshine to eliminate Roan, underscoring the systematic killings of Osage tribe members with contaminated alcohol. Despite Hale's denial of devising Roan's murder, the evidence against him continues to mount. After the prosecution rests, the defense calls Hale to testify. Despite his protestations of innocence, the government's case, bolstered by Burkhart's testimony and Ramsey's confession, appears strong. The prosecutors impassionedly label Hale as a ruthless freebooter of death, emphasizing the gravity of the crimes committed against the Osage tribe. Following days of deliberation, the jury delivers a shocking verdict, finding both Ramsey and Hale guilty of first-degree murder. While the sentence falls short of the death penalty, the men are sentenced to life imprisonment. The verdict brings a sense of justice for the Osage tribe, though the wounds inflicted upon them run deep and cannot be fully healed. As the dust settles on the trial, revelations come to light about the corruption and attempts to obstruct justice during the proceedings. Hale and Ramsey's conviction marks a significant victory in the fight against the exploitation of the Osage, but the scars of the past crimes remain etched in the community's collective memory. As the chapter comes to a close, White faces a pivotal decision to leave the Bureau and take on a new role as the warden of Leavenworth Prison. The convergence of past wrongs, justice served, and new beginnings sets the stage for the next chapter in this gripping saga of crime, corruption, and ultimately redemption. Chapter 21. The Hothouse. As Warden White walks through the oppressive heat of Leavenworth Prison, memories from the past flood his mind. He sees faces of former criminals, some even responsible for the death of his own brother. The prison, designed for 1,200 inmates, now holds 3 times that number, making it an unforgiving place to manage. The scorching temperatures inside earned the prison the nickname Hot House, with conditions so unbearable that riots erupt. Despite the challenges, White strives to improve the prison environment and instill hope in the inmates for rehabilitation. One particularly notorious prisoner, Carl Panzram, a repeat killer, brings a chilling presence to the prison. When Panzram beats a staff member to death, White, conflicted about capital punishment, is tasked with overseeing his execution. Despite his reservations, White ensures his young sons are unaware of the grim task he must fulfill. As Panzram meets his fate on the gallows, White is faced with the harsh reality of ending a human life. Meanwhile, William Hale, a key figure in the Osage murders case, serves his time at Leavenworth. Assigned to various tasks, including caring for animals, Hale maintains a stoic demeanor and refuses to admit guilt for the crimes he was convicted of. Psychological evaluations reveal the dark complexities of Hale's character, with a disturbing mix of savagery and calculated manipulation. While White remains dedicated to his role as warden, the shadows of the prison's past crimes loom large. In a daring escape attempt, White finds himself face to face with armed convicts, including members of the infamous Al Spencer gang. Taken hostage, White's quick thinking and bravery come to the forefront as he pleads for the safety of innocent bystanders caught in the chaos. The escape ends in a violent confrontation, leaving White severely injured but miraculously alive, a testament to his resilience in the face of danger. Despite the harrowing experience, White's professionalism and commitment to his duty remain unwavering. As the years pass, J. Edgar Hoover rises to power, transforming the FBI into a formidable force in law enforcement. Hoover's influence grows, shaping the identity of the Bureau and leaving a lasting impression on American history. While Hoover solidifies his legacy, White continues his quiet dedication to his work, embodying professionalism and restraint in the face of adversity. Their paths intersect briefly, highlighting the contrasting approaches to power and authority in a rapidly changing world. Through it all, White's commitment to justice and integrity shines through, even as the shadows of past crimes cast a long-lasting impact on those involved. As the Osage murder case fades from public memory, White's efforts to preserve the truth and honor the fallen agents reflect his unwavering dedication to the pursuit of justice. In his final days, White's legacy as a noble figure in a complex web of crime and corruption remains etched in the annals of history, a beacon of light in the darkness of a troubled past.